Good evening, I'm Duncan Golestani. An inquest has heard that the police tried to stop a convicted terrorist being released from prison, fearing he would attack again. Sudesh, a man did go on a stabbing spree 10 days after getting out of Belmarsh, injuring 2 people on Streatham High Road. He was killed within a minute because he was under surveillance. Katie Barnfield reports.
Captured on CCTV running down Streatham High Road before stabbing 2 people and being shot dead by the police. This is convicted terrorist Sudesh Aman, just 10 days after his release from prison. The inquest into his death today was shown these pictures. On the right, Aman is seen walking into a shop where he would steal a 20-centimetre long kitchen knife while under 24-hour police surveillance before running out to carry out his attack. The senior investigating officer on the case told the court today he'd still been showing extremist behaviour just weeks before his release. Detective Superintendent Dominic Murphy told the jury today that the Met Police had asked the prison governor to delay Sudesh Aman's release as they were worried he'd retained extremist views. But that request was denied. He said handwritten notes were found inside his cell at Belmarsh, pledging allegiance to the leaders of so-called Islamic State. And at one point, he even told another prisoner, "I'm not finished with those non-believers yet." It was on January the 23rd last year that Aman was automatically released from prison, 2/3 of the way through his sentence for terror offences. Days later, he was put under armed police surveillance because of concerns he could plan an attack. He was then watched by officers buying drinks bottles, tape and foil, items they knew could be used for a fake suicide belt. On February the 2nd, he attempted what police had feared, stabbing and injuring 2 people on Streatham High Road before being shot dead. The jury were told that his attack lasted 62 seconds before he was shot. At the time, he was being watched by 9 different police officers. The closest, named only as BX87, pictured here while chasing and shouting at him to stop. Aman was able to stab 1 woman in the back and another man in the side before officers opened fire. After his death, he was found to be wearing a fake suicide vest made from the items officers had watched him buy days earlier. The inquest will last for the next 3 weeks, with questions asked about how these events led to his death and not his return to prison. Katie Barnfield, ITV News.
2 men have been charged with murder following the disappearance of a woman in Barnet. 71-year-old Louise Cam was last seen by a family member near the Spire shopping centre a week ago. Officers recovered her car, a black BMW in northwest London. Mohammed Al Aboud and Qusay Al Jundi have both been charged with her murder. A woman who was stabbed at Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park says the area has become hostile and dangerous for people engaging in religious debate. Hatun Natash, who is a Christian preacher, was attacked just over a week ago as she spoke to a member of the public. Ria Chatterjee's been to meet her, and a warning: Ria's report contains some footage of that attack.
Whoa, 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 whoa. In this slowed-down version, you see the man in the long black coat running away. Hatun Tash does too. The attacker is chased down the street. And from this angle, you see Hatun, the victim, chatting to someone before being ambushed. We've stopped the footage before the knife reaches her temple.
Speaker's Corner is only in active work on Sundays.
But here you can see her stitches. Hatun had been at Speaker's Corner 2 Sundays ago, a site of debate since the mid-1800s.
I watched the clip and it didn't intention was just to harm me, but intention was to take my life. It is heartbreaking, you see blood on your hand and then you see blood on your face and you see the fear in the eyes of people.
This is footage of Hatun Tash at previous events. She converted from Islam to Christianity. She now preaches at Speaker's Corner about both religions.
This is good platform for me to get challenged about my faith and also critical ideology of Islam. It's a small place, but sometimes it is difficult for individuals to control their emotions. I was dragged on the floor, I slapped.
Hatun says this kind of behaviour has been getting worse over the years. The police say the knife attack is being investigated by the Met's counter-terrorism branch, though the incident isn't being treated as terrorism-related at the moment. The suspect hasn't been found. Ria Chatterjee, ITV News.
Tomorrow's strike action on the Underground has been called off following talks between tube bosses and unions. Members of the RMT union were planning a series of walkouts in a dispute over plans to scrap the pay grade of night drivers. Strikes for tomorrow and Wednesday have been cancelled, but 2 further dates in August are still set to go ahead. It's being reported that Harry Kane failed to show up at Tottenham's training ground this morning. The striker was due to return after a 3-week break. Speculation continues to grow over the England captain's future with Spurs after Manchester City made a £100 million bid for him in June. And a £700 million film and TV studio are to be built in Hertfordshire, creating more than 4,500 jobs. The site in Broxbourne will be Sunset Studios' first facility outside of the US. It will be just 20 minutes down the road from Elstree Studios in Borehamwood and Warner Brothers Studios in Leavesden. Next tonight, Holly Jackson's first novel, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, was a #1 New York Times bestseller and the UK's best-selling young adult and children's debut of 2019. It was a love letter of sorts to her hometown of Great Missenden. The latest instalment, As Good as Dead, is out next week, so Holly took Rags Martel for a tour to explain what it is about the Buckinghamshire village that inspires her so much.
It's Great Missenden's murder mystery.
Yes, so this is Great Missenden. This is the setting for my book, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder.
Superb, let's have a look around.
So it was kind of just the natural place for me to set the book as I was here. In the books, the town has been fictionalised, so it's called Little Kilton. Cheeky little kill in there, just to set the vibe.
And it's a story that's captured its young reader's imagination, an international hit reaching the top of the New York Times bestseller list.
Yeah, the New York Times was bonkers. I still can't believe it's real, and it's one of those things where at the time I literally was just calling my editor and they were like, "You're a New York Times bestseller," and I just kept saying, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Like, do they need to count again? Are you sure?" No.
Missenden is actually Roald Dahl country, home of the children's author's final years. But Holly Jackson used to live here too.
So why was Great Missenden such a good location for a murder mystery?
I think it's really useful having kind of a small village because you've got like this high street which actually plays a role in the book. A character who's missing in book 1, actually her last sighting is on this street. Also, I just thought like the kind of small town villagey vibe is really good because it has that kind of everyone knows everyone vibe.
And are you surprised how much success the book has had?
Yeah, I mean no one can plan. No one can plan for selling even like a few hundred copies. I mean, you kind of go in with your expectations low. This is what the publishing industry teaches you. Go in expectations low, and anything that happens is a good surprise. But no, I didn't have any idea that it would, sell as well as it had. I think a lot of murder mysteries, fit really well in a small town setting because it's really right for that kind of feeling that everyone has like one degree of separation to the murder or crime. So I think that's why like small towns are just a really good environment for crime writers to play around in.
And Missenden's spooky woods also helped inspire the story.
Woods are they're very like night and day, aren't they? There's nothing better than a walk in the woods when it's daytime, but at night time, oof, scary. Yeah, it was a great place to set the book. I'm happy. It's kind of nice that it's close to home. Here we are.
As Good as Dead, the final book of the Great Missenden trilogy, is out next week. Rags Martel, ITV News.
On to the weather now, here's Sally.
Making the most of it, whatever the weather. Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Hello there, and a very good evening to you. I hope you've had a good start to the week and a good start to the month. It's a little bit changeable for the beginning of August. We've got some sunny spells around this week, some dry weather, but also a few showers, which at times could be a bit heavy, maybe even a touch thundery. So back to this evening, some of these showers outside, maybe even a touch thundery, and just a little bit hesitant to disappear. But as we continue to head through the night, things clearing up, drying out, and by dawn, those temperatures should stay up into double figures, certainly in the towns and cities. And we may well even get some sunshine to greet us tomorrow morning. Now, there'll be a bit of cloud mixed in, and as we head through the morning, a few more showers cropping up once again. But tomorrow is looking like they'll be a little bit lighter, maybe the odd heavier one thrown in, but many areas staying dry. Hopefully not seeing too much rain if you're not wanting any. And those temperatures a bit like today, getting up into the low 20s. Well, those are the highs. Now, if you've got plans tomorrow night, can't rule out the odd shower clinging on, but trying to fade away. And then as we head into the outlook, fairly similar outlook story really for Wednesday. Friday and Saturday, we could see showers at times. On Thursday, however, looking like that cloud will hang on and maybe that rain being a little bit more persistent at times. That's it. I'll see you later on. Good night. Sleep well.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
And that's how we start the week. We'll do it all again tomorrow from 6 a.m. in Good Morning Britain. For now, though, good night.